that time doing the cold calling must have given you a ton of insight on how to run your agency when you eventually went back, right?
Yeah.
Or not?
Well, I really didn't handle too much with the operations back then. But I always knew the phone was, even back really when I was a kid and I used to race BMX, I would just call the companies and say, "You sponsoring?" So I never had a problem with the phone. But uh, I'd say I think I always had my ears open. So yeah, it definitely helped me get going by putting in those couple of years or whatever it was. Um, the sales skills I ended up learning later on the phone. And most of it is recognizing the truth in the conversation, right? Is this a real lead or not? Does it have potential? And what are the things that you need to say to actually get their attention and have them realize that you can, you have their best interest in mind, that you want to actually help them. That came later on, and I think my first pass at it, I was kind of selling myself smoke first, right? And that I learned later on, and I think that was the difference that made the difference, really.
And where'd you go after that? Your first round?
I actually went in and trained and became a commodity broker for about 5 years, dealing with grains and like meats and metals and stuff like that. So
in Chicago?
Crazy.
But no, out here, actually, it was the crazy thing. I'm sorry, out here in California. But from there is where it was a really cool group of people. I think we went really big. I started when we were like 3 people in my division, and it went to like 50 in 5 years. And,
oh, wow.
But, you just burn out after a while. But, I mean, there you learn the phone, and you learned it very well. And we had a respect. We were very competitive, but also had a respect for each other, where you could tell somebody, "Don't say that," and you're not going to get pissed off, because everybody
was
has
coachable.
best interest in mind, right? And after that happens for a while, then you start to realize and start to develop your craft. And the worst and best learning lesson is when somebody can call somebody after you lost it and close it.
Yeah.
Man, really, that's never going to happen again. But anyway, so, we helped each other out, and it was very much a natural persuasion of what you guys are dealing with and some of the stuff that you do. As long as you know the maps and models and the structure of it, it gets pretty easy, as long as you enter it with intention in the right state.
Yep. I always like that. Like I'd say once a month, maybe a little bit more than that, but like every once in a while, another agency will close an internet lead that we got. And I was like, see, and I love it when they close it, because it's like, see, you should have just closed it right away.
Yep.
Like,
oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like that way. And it's the weirdest thing, because even we might have the same map, the same sales map, you and I, but there's also something underneath it. You might be able to actually close somebody that I can't, and vice versa. And it's the strangest thing. And sometimes that's the best thing to do, is switch it up. I'm not a big fan of rotating like lead owners, right? But sometimes it works that way. It's the strangest thing. And,
yeah.
One of the things we used to do too to make it learn is, once kind of the pressure's off, is, call them back in a half hour, just out of curiosity. I know you're not going to go with me, but to help me, just out of curiosity, if you were, why would that be?
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
Now you've reopened future opportunity, but also they're not under pressure, right? You don't have your thumb on them. So a lot of times they'll tell you the honest truth. Well, it was my brother-in-law, he's my agent, broker, whatever, right? And so, you try to get that up front and uncover it, but sometimes they'll tell you the real truth after, where you can learn from. I just thought you were not, or I thought you were, or something like that. So as long as you can be open to receiving that type of information and using it and playing with it, then you can grow from it.